Hey everyone, I'm Daleen Hassan. Welcome to Inspire Middle East. This week we're focusing on the topic of inclusion and tolerance within regional societies, starting with a project in the UAE, which will be a home to a mosque, a church, and a synagogue. Later on, we'll look at how the art and artifacts of museums has the power to include or exclude segments of society. But first, the UAE is home to a diverse population of more than 200 nationalities, and it's a melting pot of multiple cultures and faiths. A beacon of religious coexistence is planned for the capital, Abu Dhabi, called the Abrahamic Family House. Rebecca McLaughlin-Easton looks into what it really means from Jewish, Christian, and Muslim representatives in the region. Take a look.
Religious history was made in Abu Dhabi last year when the document on human fraternity was signed by Pope Francis and Dr. Ahmed Al Tayeb, the Grand Imam of Al-Azhar. It called for tolerance, universal peace, and the reconciliation of all faiths. Embodying this agreement, this year construction will start on a project called the Abrahamic Family House on Saadiyat Island. Due for completion in 2022, the site will house a church, a mosque, and a synagogue. Award-winning Ghanaian British architect Sir David Adjaye, who is spearheading the project, says he was profoundly honoured and humbled to receive the commission. And having identified limestone, timber and bronze as classical materials used in all three religions, Sir David has articulated them differently for each building in the capital.
So David, have you had to use a certain degree of design diplomacy, if we can call it that, to make sure that all three structures are equally remarkable, beautiful and impactful?
That is always the case, and then much more so in this project. We also realized that in each of the faiths that there had been very unique details, like the domes and vaults and arches of mosques, ideas of enclosure in the Jewish tradition, and the idea of deliverance and ecstasy in Christian churches. So they became the sort of details that started to, for me, be amplified.
How do you hope that people make use of this project once it's completed?
I really think that what we want is that for those who are practitioners of their faith, that they really find this an inspiring addition to the spaces of faith that they know. And for those who just don't even have any belief, atheists, that this becomes an intriguing new form that really attracts them to kind of look into what are the bases of these three religions.
St Andrew's Anglican Church in Abu Dhabi is made up of more than 50 congregations of 40 nationalities, with average weekly visitors of around 15,000 worshippers. Its Canon Paul Burt says the project in Abu Dhabi symbolises a hugely exciting union of faith, particularly for the region's youth.
Canon Paul, talk to me about the level of commitment to their Christian faith that you see amongst the younger generation in the UAE, but also the wider region. Are you inspired or discouraged by what you see?
Religion is still the foundational fact in the lives of most people, in fact, almost all people. And young people are excited about their lives and about the future, and so they are full of optimism and excitement. And by participating in a project like this, I think we'll find that it will be led by young people effectively.
Multi-faiths have coexisted in this region and throughout the world for many centuries. So tell me, what new aspect do you believe the Abrahamic House in Abu Dhabi might bring?
It's true that at the moment our world appears to be sliding into separation and division, concentrating on what divides people rather than what unites them. And by concentrating on that, we are saying that this is a vital contribution to the world community at this time.
Sheikh Dr. Fariz Ali Mustafa is an imam and preacher at the UAE's Al Farouk Omar bin Al Khattab Mosque and Centre. He's passionate about religious inclusion and tolerance and encourages people of all faiths to visit his organization so they can learn more from each other.
ثقافة الحب هي حقيقة يعني
The culture of love is present in all divine laws, in Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Anything outside of a frame of love is simply not from God.
The Imam says that whilst Abu Dhabi's Abrahamic House is something new in theory, its intention is a long-standing one.
Everything new needs time for people to understand it, but actually, this house isn't something new. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, used to receive Christian delegations in his mosque and receive Christian prayers. But the Abrahamic House can, even if it's new, can revive this authentic culture.
An authentic interfaith friendship was built by Rabbi Daniel Silverstein and Muslim educator and rapper Muhammad Yahya when they formed a hip-hop duo aimed at challenging racial and religious prejudice.
From the Hebrew to the Arabic, we lead you to the parapet. If the spirit is encrypted in a code, then we'll be cracking it.
Based in Israel, Rabbi Daniel is thrilled at the prospect of visiting the new Abrahamic family house in Abu Dhabi, given the overlaps with his philosophy of sharing religious teachings and building trust within societies through dialogue and music.
Every fragment prays the legend. Every exile brings a lesson.
Rabbi Daniel, talk to me about the hip-hop group that you formed called Lines of Faith. Why is rap and religion a good mix, in your opinion?
Seems to be that rap is a very powerful way of capturing people's attention and conveying ideas that a lot of young people can really listen to and internalize the ideas more strongly that way than through many other media. And I find sometimes the responses I get from people that they were very moved by what I do.
Educated at Cambridge University, Rabbi Daniel describes himself as a spiritual seeker who studied Islam and Buddhism amongst other religions before his ordination in 2015. Today, Daniel runs an online learning platform called Applied Jewish Spirituality. Inquiries rose during the pandemic, and following the normalization of diplomatic relations between the UAE, Bahrain and Israel in September, new markets emerged.
Just after the Abraham Accords were signed, you received an unexpected email from the United Arab Emirates. Tell me more.
This woman said, "Hi, I'm from the UAE and I would like to learn about Judaism and Jewish spirituality." And I was just blown away. That just touched me so much that what was happening between politicians was already affecting us, just people on the ground, and that this woman could reach out to me now whereas she couldn't before. And she was so excited to learn. I'm so happy to share with her.
Collections of artworks and antiques in museums around the world are carefully curated. Some museums in the MENA region are showcasing religious historical bonds with artifacts. Salim Saeed finds out what's involved in putting together inclusive and impactful exhibits for everyone.
Sacred artifacts, once held by the few, are now shared with the many in global exhibition spaces and galleries. Museums are democratizing and inclusive, so said the International Council of Museums in 2019, a consultative partner of UNESCO with around 40,000 members, which believes the current definition of a museum is outdated.
The COVID-19 pandemic made very clear to us that the museum of the 20th century doesn't fit to the 21st century. There are many global trends, as we can see. Globalization, digitization, diversity, migration.
There's a new type of gallery and museum goer, says Mateus, which reflects the need for new types of institutions, with collections rich in diverse cultural and ethnic representation.
Museums deal with objects from abroad, out of the context of other cultures, and therefore you need to build a bridge into other religions.
In the UK, the British Museum's Living with God's exhibition holds artifacts of worship from numerous faiths. In Paris, the Louvre contains a gallery of around 3,000 Islamic art objects. And in the Middle East, shortly after Pope Francis's visit to the UAE capital in 2019, the Louvre Abu Dhabi launched a universal religions wing, featuring Jewish Torah scrolls, to a medieval Bible, a North African blue Quran, and Buddhist totems, reflecting the country's many faiths and nationalities. And in Amman, the Jordan National Gallery of Fine Arts is appealing to its local and global audience. Among its permanent collection of more than 2,800 artworks are ceramics, paintings, and installations with Christian and Byzantine influences alongside Islamic calligraphy. Inclusive artistry, says the gallery's executive director, is critical for a globally conscious society.
If you look at the world now and you see most of the cultural and political crisis, it comes from the idea of not accepting the other. And by doing its mission to kind of represent and celebrate this plurality of cultures and worldviews, it helps people to kind of cope and understand and empathize with the other.
The Contemporary Museum says inclusion is also cross-generational, meaning it's important to appeal to youth who easily connect with art and artifacts in discussion, performance, and more importantly, as a community.
And that's where we must leave our show for this week. We hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget, you can catch all of our episodes online at Euronews.com. Before I head off, here are some inspirational Instagram posts that we liked this week. Thanks for watching, take care, and I'll see you soon.
Mariana from Italy describes the Jewish quarter of Milah in Morocco as an oasis of peace. Shadi took this shot at the shrine of Our Lady of Lebanon. And Indian-Dutch tourist Naomi admired the interior of Al Mina Mosque in Egypt.